Lately, it feels like indie games are splitting into two camps. The ones trying to melt your GPU with high-fidelity visuals and the ones trying to push how games are actually structured or played. But the reality is, the market is louder than it's ever been. We're seeing thousands of games launch every month, and the indie label now covers everything from massive AA productions to solo projects made in a bedroom. It's becoming nearly impossible to tell what's actually worth your time and what's just another polished clone. I've been digging through the upcoming release calendar, looking past the hype to find the projects that stand out for a clear reason, whether they're doing something mechanically weird or just leaning into a very specific focused vibe. No 60-hour bloat, just 10 games that have something to say. I've even included a special bonus at the end that fans of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are going to want to see. So here are 10 upcoming indie games worth checking out, starting with number 10. The Order of Hermits, a group of outcast mages exiled for past atrocities, is being systematically hunted and murdered, and you play as a wanderer traversing a handcrafted mainland to uncover the secrets these mages die to protect. Hermit is an open-world RPG that reminds me of Outward, as it trades traditional power fantasies for logistical inventory management and high-stakes survival mechanics that reward careful planning. There is no set release date for the game yet, but there is a demo available that lets you explore a self-contained version of the walled city of Gravenstad. Kaiju Cleaner Simulator is a first-person simulation game where you take on the brutal, messy job of clearing away the aftermath of epic monster battles. You play as a municipal cleaner tasked with carving up colossal corpses, harvesting rare organs, and using heavy machinery to scrub toxins and blood from the city streets before the next attack occurs. There is no release date for the game, however, a playtest is currently being conducted, allowing players to jump into an early build to help shape the development and get a head start on the cleanup. Denshattack is an arcade-style adventure set in a colorful Japanese dystopia where you join a band of outcasts to take down a shady megacorp. You play as a rider on a customizable gravity-defying train, traversing a reimagined Japan to reclaim the tracks from rival gangs and the sinister Miraido Corporation. The game is scheduled to release on June 17, 2026. There is currently an extended demo available on Steam. Antediluvial Yalroc Island is an atmospheric adventure set on a mysterious prehistoric island where you must navigate a world of ancient creatures and lost civilizations. You play as an explorer stranded in a forgotten era, forced to traverse dense jungles and crumbling ruins to uncover the truth behind the island's powerful artifacts before a cataclysmic flood arrives. The core of the experience is built around a high-stakes time loop, giving you only 3 days to survive and unravel the island's secrets. This is an isometric action-adventure game inspired by the classic ARPGs of the 90s, specifically drawing influence from titles like Landstalker and its spiritual successors Alundra 1 and 2. There is no set release date yet for the game, but this is definitely one of the titles I will be trying to review on the channel once it drops. I've been following the developer updates closely, and it's shaping up to be a standout for fans of retro-inspired games. Black Raven is a dark 2.5D action-adventure rooted in Slavic folklore and the brutal atmosphere of the 14th century Eastern Europe. You play as Ivan, a man consumed by vengeance after a raid shatters his family, forcing you to navigate a landscape where the boundary between reality and myth is dangerously thin. The narrative draws heavily on Ukrainian, Polish, and Belarusian culture, pitting you against legendary folklore villains as you hunt down those who destroyed your life. There is no release date for the game, however, there is both a demo and an active playtest available on Steam. Withering Realms is a horror action RPG and the direct sequel to Withering Realms, set 10 years after the events of the first game. You play as Clover, a 9-year-old who wakes up alone in a decaying mansion only to realize she has become a ghost. Accompanied by a grotesque doll crafted from wood, metal, and human remains, you must navigate the eerie town of Penwell and its surrounding graveyards in a desperate quest to bring Clover back to life. The gameplay expands on the original's foundation, shifting from a side-scroller into a larger-scale action RPG with a significantly heavier emphasis on combat and exploration. The game is planned for an early access release in May 2026. This is a title I am personally looking forward to, especially after enjoying the first game enough to earn every achievement. Mayak is a hand-painted hard sci-fi adventure focusing on humanity's first contact with an alien intelligence. You play as a young astronomer at a remote observatory who discovers a mysterious prime number signal counting down to an unknown event. The story explores his relationship with a colleague and the personal weight of a discovery that suggests a looming interstellar deadline. The gameplay is a 2D side-scrolling experience featuring a linear narrative and visual novel elements. It stands out with its digital oil-painted aesthetic, blending impressionism with noir framing to create a grounded, mood-heavy atmosphere. With no branching paths, the focus remains on a singular, deliberate ending and a soundtrack 8 years in the making. There is no release date yet, and it's currently listed as coming soon on Steam. Neverway is a nightmarish life sim RPG that blends cozy island living with psychological horror. You play as Fiona, a woman who quits her mundane city job to start a new life on a remote island, only to accidentally become the immortal herald of a dead god. As you attempt to rebuild your life, a parallel nightmare reality known as the Neverway begins to leak into your world, forcing you to balance everyday survival with eldritch threats. The gameplay seamlessly shifts between high-stakes action and relaxed simulation mechanics. By day, you engage in farming, fishing, and building relationships with over 10 unique villagers, where time only progresses when you choose to advance between morning, afternoon, and evening blocks. When facing the enemies of the Neverway, the game features a top-down, fast-paced combat inspired by classic 2D Zelda titles. The game is scheduled for a full release on October 2026 for PC and Nintendo Switch. If you want to get an early look, a free prologue is currently available on Steam. Divinum is a fast-paced action Metroidvania set on a remote northern island under threat from mysterious invaders. You play as Fior, a young warrior born under a celestial blessing who must harness the power of ancestral spirits to protect her homeland. The narrative centers on your journey to uncover the island's long-buried dark secrets while exploring environments ranging from catacombs to sacred ruins. The gameplay features a stylish, intricate combat system that emphasizes mid-air juggling, parries, and devastating combo chains. The combat is designed to feel like a 2D version of Devil May Cry. The game includes deep Metroidvania exploration and a unique rune system where collectible equipment provides significant modifiers that fundamentally change your playstyle. The game is currently scheduled for a full release in 2026 for PC and Mac. A demo was recently updated with an extended story prologue and refined animations for players to experience the combat flow firsthand. Wyldheart is a co-op action RPG set in a rustic fantasy world, designed to capture the feeling of a tabletop campaign. You play as a customizable hero, choosing from backgrounds like the Mossling or Grimhorn, as you investigate rumors and survive the dangers threatening the fallen kingdom of Kerwin. The game emphasizes a flexible game night approach, featuring bite-sized campaigns that are ideal for busy players. The game utilizes a classless system, allowing you to freely distribute your points between skills like magic, weaponry, and dungeoneering. You can explore the world solo or with up to 4 players in seamless drop-in, drop-out co-op, with difficulty scaling dynamically based on party size. Outside of combat, you will engage in survival mechanics such as resource gathering, crafting, and cooking while interacting with local villagers who follow their own daily schedules. The game is currently targeting an early access release in late 2026 with a full launch planned for 2027. As a quick bonus before we wrap up, I had to highlight a project that feels like a total nostalgia trip. Temple Maker 64 is a third-person dungeon creator that serves as a massive love letter to the Nintendo 64 era. It essentially gives the classic 3D Zelda formula the Mario Maker treatment, allowing you to build your own complex temples using retro-inspired assets. The gameplay centers on an intuitive 3D editor where you can place everything from switch-time doors and puzzles to boss encounters and platforming challenges. And that brings us to the end of the list. If you want to check any of these games out, the links are in the description. Let me know if any of these are on your radar or if there's something I missed. If you like the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. I'll see you in the next one.